The following program is rated TV MA LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
They gave me my theme music!
This is a Planet Fanatix production.
What's up and what's going on with Fellow Fanatix? We appreciate everybody being here tonight. I'm going to let everybody else get in here. As you guys see, we got everybody back tonight. Corey is here. Q is here tonight. Corey, we'll start with you since the last time we saw you. How are you? I think the last time we saw you was before you went on your cruise.
Yes.
All right. To share with the people how you have been since the last time we saw.
The cruise was fun. KJ had a great time, which is all that mattered. He made lots of new friends, so I had a great time. It was really cool. We were celebrating my great-grandmother's legacy, because she had 5 kids, and out of the 5 kids, 2 of them are still alive, which one of them is my grandmother. And so there was like 60 cousins on one cruise trip, so it was actually really fun.
Yeah. That's fun. Cruises are fun. Q, since we last saw you, that was a minute ago.
Wow. I don't know. Life is cool. I'm a slave. All I do is work. I went to Vegas. I don't know. I found out a lot about myself, I guess. I was telling Corey on the way over here, I'm a simple nigga. You know, I don't like all that extra shit. I don't think I like too many people. I don't like being on. Not saying I dislike everyone, but it's like, I don't know. I enjoy being in my own little world, in my own bubble, doing my own shit.
Right.
Not being on people's time. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I realized if I'm not doing my own shit, I'm probably going to be in a bad mood. And so that's when I went down to Vegas. I wasn't on my own time.
That is the
bad
worst.
Mood.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
And so,
yeah.
I don't know. It was cool. Vegas is Vegas. Gambled a little, won a little. But, you know, everything's so expensive. It's not like you make anything. So, I mean.
Right.
But if I wasn't down in Vegas, I've deadass been at work or doing housework or taking care of the dogs or really just saving up for this new car that I'm about to get either this week or next week. So, you know the world, or you know the life whenever taken out by a car and you just sit at home wishing.
Wishing for better days.
No. You do not have to tell me about the wishing for better days.
That shit humbles you for real.
I do, I think I said this the last time. I'm going to keep it brief, though, because we're going to get started. But I don't have my car either, so you don't have to preach to me about the whole, I get it, bruh. The whole fucking thing about being on other motherfuckers' time, that shit sucks. That sucks. I hate being on other people's time. I hate that shit. When I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go.
Man, when I'm ready to leave, I'm ready to leave.
Yeah.
Ready to
like when I'm ready, like home. I was supposed to go get something done one day, and you know, and this is not anything on my mother. Since I have not had my car, my mother's been my biggest help. But she was. I had texted her early that morning. I was like, hey, this evening I need to. As soon as I get off, I want to go get some errands done. She texted me around like 8 and was like, you ready? No. No, it's now 8 p.m. in the evening. I don't want to get out. It's cold. Yeah. By the time I get home, it's going to be 10, 11, and I'm going to blink and then be up for work. So I'm going to call it. So, no, I have to have my own shit. I hate that shit. But we'll go ahead and, like I said, get started tonight. I appreciate everybody being here that is here. If you are watching and you haven't hit that like button, go ahead and smash that like button. Go ahead and hit that subscription button if you are new. We do appreciate the new subscribers we've gotten. I think we're like, 15 or so away from, or almost 11, I think. 11 away from 2,000. And we would have hit that 2,000 a long time ago. But again, the hiatus is what put us back and everything like that. But if you are watching and you're new, we are 11 away from 2,000. Please hit that subscription button, hit that like button, things like that. today's stream is going to be a little weird. Well, not weird. It's going to be the same, but a little quicker than normal. And the reason being is because we have to film Echo. So we got to do 2 episodes of Echo tonight, and then we're going to try to do the other 3 another time. But we're going to do the 2 episodes tonight, so we got to get through these the things that we need to talk about, and then get on to that. I think that was all that I needed to say to everyone. Yeah, so we'll go ahead, jump in, and get started on the news. First thing we'll talk about is we talked about this a while ago. When I say a while ago, I'm talking like when Trey and Cody were still here. We only had the one desk going straight, and that was the God of War series that Amazon is doing. Amazon Prime is putting on. And if you've played God of War, any of the God of Wars, whether it be God of War on the first one that came out on PS2, or the second one that came out on PS2 remastered for PS3, and then the third one PS3, then on and on for the fourth and fifth, the fifth installment, the newest installment. The question, I think we asked that then, who was going to play Kratos, and not just who was going to play Kratos. You know, it had been some time since we had talked about it. Like, what was this going to look like? Was this going to be akin to the at that time, Lord of the Rings was on Amazon, the new Lord of the Rings show, so everybody was kind of comparing it to that budget, comparing it to how it looked. Now, granted, people didn't care for Lord of the Rings, that show. I don't care for Lord of the Rings in general, so it didn't hurt me neither way. But people didn't care for that show. But overall, the overall budget for the show, what the show looked like, people were just saying, could that be a blueprint for what God of War could be? And again, that's one of my favorite games. I love that game. I was hunting down a PS3 for months just to play specifically that game. So, or a PS2 or for God of War 2. So, I love that game. I'm interested to see what it's going to look like in live action. I'm interested to see how you bring it to life. But the most important thing is, honestly, I don't know, Q, I don't remember if you ever said you played God of War. I'm going to assume you have not.
No,
but the most important thing is who do you get to play Kratos? Because that is a character that is that doesn't say much. You know, Kratos speaks, but he doesn't talk that much.
I don't really think it's a situation where... I think it's kind of a situation where I think our question, or I don't know if it was yours, but my question was more so, are they going to go with more of like the game approach of it, or are they going to be approaching more of like the medieval times and everything,
right,
or actual mythology and everything, and those appearances and stuff like that, or they were going to switch it up to anything with the game adaptions or anything? But I don't know. I don't really... after... This is just today saying it, but after seeing how Lord of the Rings did, and then watching season 2 of Invincible, or I don't know, was it season 3 or 2? I mean, the latest season. I don't know. Amazon, they better hope the next season of The Boys is good, because they haven't been doing that good.
Yeah.
Well, I was just about to ask too. I mean, like, obviously,
I mean, like Gen V, and that's my fault for interrupting, but I don't even know. Not everyone liked Gen V. I think you kind of just liked it if you're into that type of shit with The Boys and everything. But the plot of Gen V, not everyone was going crazy over. So it's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know if I can fully say I trust Amazon yet with TV shows and everything, especially with something as complex as this.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna ask. Like, I've never played the game, but I would think going from a video game to a live action movie or even a series would just be very expensive, because you have more freedom in graphics than you would in TV. So I guess I would have the same questions as Q. Like, are you going to adapt more to the medieval times because it's more within your budget, or are you going to try to adapt more into the game aspect? I never played, but I've had friends who have played. So
yeah. Well, for the going from a video game to live action, obviously 2 different companies, but HBO has proven that it is successful.
True.
I've also the Mario movie has proven it is successful. Mario was one of the most successful movies of the year.
Yeah, but those are big budget projects.
Big budget projects, but I believe at the very beginning of this, when we first talked about this way back when, I believe that was something that they talked about, that the budget was going to be...
It's going to be big.
I mean, it has to be. I mean, you look at, I think, what was the budget for, Lord of the Rings, God of War, 2 completely different franchises, but the Lord of the Rings budget was, I believe, over $100 million, and that was just an advertisement.
Oh, that's crazy.
So it is going to take a big budget to bring, because it's not, and it depends on what era of Kratos are we getting. Are we getting Norse mythology Kratos, or are we getting Greek mythology Kratos? I mean, either or. When you build a mythological world like Greek mythology or Norse mythology, it's going to take a budget.
Yeah.
It's going to take a budget. Not just that, you got to bring these characters to life, not just Kratos. If you're doing Greek mythology, you got to bring all the Greek gods to life. If you're doing Norse mythology, you got to bring all the Norse gods and all of the fairy tale creatures from that universe and things to life. So,
And
yeah, it's going to be
capture an
expensive.
audience, especially people who don't play the game.
Yes, and then
but
that's
are
another
into-
thing. That is
into
another
type
thing.
Of, you know, I obviously don't play the video games, but I love anything that's like medieval, you know, Greek, just any type of mythology.
Right. And that, I mean, that's another thing too, like you just said there, is capturing new fans, new audiences. I mean, I did not play the Last of Us game, but from what watching the first season of the show, I was interested. I don't want to play the game, but I was interested in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like same thing with not a video game, but a book. Same thing with Game of Thrones. I didn't read the book before jumping into the show, and that is what interested me. Got me interested in the show was just watching it. So I mean, that's the thing too. It could bring on new audiences, and then they could possibly see a spike in numbers in game sales and things like that. But the big thing is, like I said, who is going to play Kratos, and ComingSoon.net kind of put together a list of who could portray Kratos, and they had put down Dave Bautista. Yeah, I said no to that one. I remember that was a name that was on the list at the very beginning.
I'm saying no to the whole fucking list.
I said no to the list, the entire list as well too.
Maybe except Alex, but even no to him.
Not
Maybe.
Dwayne Johnson.
No, I'm my fault for not even letting you get the list off.
No, it's fine. I had said
Shit.
no to the list. I had said
Not
no to the list as
Jason
well too. That they made.
It's not even because I was reading something and it's kind of it really. I want to get your opinion on this because there was a thread on Twitter, a bunch of people saying that the race of whoever plays Kratos doesn't matter.
I would disagree.
Yeah, and that's why it's like I don't know. I feel like it.
And I don't, and I'm not trying to
Can't
say
be-
this just because I am, but he's black.
Yeah, so
Is he not
no,
black?
no, then he's a
I was about
nigga.
to
Yeah, I was about to
Black
say, is he
ethnicity.
not
He's a nigga.
black?
That's,
I thought he was.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, and that's what people were saying, like he's raceless or some shit. I'm
He's
like,
not
man,
raceless.
I'm like,
So
bro, that's
what?
white people trying to like.
No,
you
he's
know
not
how they
raceless.
get into
So
that
why,
argument and shit. I'm
why
like,
does he have color in the game?
I'm like, no, bro, he is a nigga.
Yeah.
The way he talked to
Right.
his son, the way he be bitching, that's a annoyed ass nigga right there who want to get shit done. But,
Yeah.
and that's where I was going to say, like, it's kind of complex on where you cast them because it's like there's so many elements of them because there is the father element, then there's the god of war, then there's just the god who goes around, and then I don't know there's just
Yeah,
so many
there-
elements,
exactly.
and then like
That
there,
too.
it's a
That
look
too.
that not everyone can pull off either, and it's like
He's
I don't
got-
want the look
yeah.
to be too fake. I want it to be natural. Like I want the muscles to be. I want them to be like ripped as fuck. I want the beard to be real. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be too much fake shit or makeup or any cosmetics going on or anything like that. And so, if I'm being honest, dang, I just think that it's a hard cast to pull off, and it's
It is.
like looking at the show in general and everything that they want to do just to pull off everything, like you said, the supporting characters and everything like that.
Yeah, man,
It's
that's
kind
a
of like
big one too.
it's so much shit that you have to pull off, and it's kind of like one, you need the big budget to go back to what we were talking about, but two, if you don't have that big budget, it's like I don't know how the fuck you even make the show, but it's like you have to do more than one season because
You
it's
have
too
to.
complex to do it in one or
Right.
two.
And it
So
might,
it's like
yeah.
that's the thing. You have to nail the first season because if you don't, you're not gonna make money. And it's like, do you want to put that budget towards a second season? Do the
Yeah.
actors want it? So it's like I don't know. This is
It's a lot.
honestly
It's
this
a
is
lot.
a really hard title to pull off.
It's a lot. I mean, I was just thinking about when you were saying that, about just more. So when Corey was mentioning the budget and stuff too. If you do the Greek, and I don't want to spend too much more time on this, but if you do the Greek mythology side of it, you have to remember through the entire, except for the first God of War installment of the Greek mythology, because there's three parts. There's the first, the three games. Outside the first one, the second and third one, the Titans are in it. So that means you're going to have the budget of making big ass Titans that aren't just in like sequences. These motherfuckers are full fleshed out part of the game.
I mean, this
Right.
nigga's like his weapons gonna have to be
yeah.
like them
Yeah.
big ass blades and the fire
The
blades.
CGI of how those move.
The chains
Yeah.
are swung and everything. There's gonna have to be some CGI, and that's why what even goes back to me saying his look and everything. It's gonna have to be natural, and there's gonna have to be a lot of natural.
This
shit
is why I
there.
bet you it's going to be more of the Norse mythology Kratos thing, because they're not gonna. There's too many working elements with that Greek mythology story.
It's like you have to have some natural things whenever we know a lot of that shit is going to have to be CGI'd and some cosmetic stuff in there because, like you said, fucking Medusa giants,
Yeah,
fucking
I mean, all the
stone
gods.
gods, fucking him himself. Like, there's just so much shit that it's going to have to be a delicate balance, honestly.
Yeah, and the only one I don't like this list, but I don't see Christopher Judge as Kratos. It's just his voice. His voice just as him is brilliant, but visually, no. But like I said, that's where they are right now. They are gonna start the writing as of now. They're gonna start the writing. So, I mean, I'm not sure what the. I mean, I guess they don't want to make it exactly like the game. I don't know what this writing would be. Would the writing not just be what the plot of the game is? But hey, I am not the
I would
studio
assume
head.
So,
but we will, of course, be covering this as more comes out, as more of the actors comes out, who's going to be playing who, and things of that nature, but we'll be covering all that. But as always, questions for you guys, let us know down below in the comments what you guys are thinking. Are you a God of War fan? Did you play the video games? If not, are you going to be watching this on Amazon Prime if it ever comes to life? And then from there, maybe become a fan. But let us know all those things down below in the comments. What do we got?
D. Diesel said Kratos versus Zeus. Conversation. Let me see. And then he said, if it was up to me, I would start from the beginning, but they're not doing that. Jay Namakata said Ragnarok. My thing with the God of War series is I heard they want to base it off the 2018 version, and I'm just like, no, you're jumping way too far into the story. The OG games are pivotal to Kratos' story, and God of War 2018 and Ragnarok couldn't be told without the events of the previous games.
Is this a situation though where they could like kind of go further into the story, and then if it's successful, they can pull like?
I mean, they could.
Maybe
I mean,
like a
they
prequel
always
or
can. I
something?
mean, and not just that. I mean, I think as the audience, we have to expect them to divert from what we know as the story of Kratos. Not too much, but divert from what we've known as the story in the game, because it is writing. It is them, as every studio wants these writers to have their own creative flow and whatever on the story. So, yeah, I'm sure it probably will be a different storyline.
Yeah.
Or added to it. Kind of like the Harry Potter stuff they're doing.
Kind of like their version,
Yeah, I hate that. But yeah.
Amazon's version of like how this would go down.
Andre said, not a fan of the Lord of the Rings TV show, but the movies were amazing. Yeah, no, the TV show was not it. I can
The
say
movies
that.
aren't half bad.
Not a,
The movies are good, I'm just
Lord
not
of
a
the Rings.
fan.
yeah.
I was huge into Lord of the Rings, so I just had to like
It was more Harry Potter.
get into it more. And I really wanted to.
Let's see. Raymond said, this is never happening. I don't want a former wrestler turned actor playing any of these characters. Find a real actor. It's a shame Ray Stevenson passed. He would have been great.
You know what sucks, too? Is I believe Dave Bautista is going to be a top choice.
Hell yeah.
That's what sucks.
Yeah.
And the reason being is, and I can already hear people, like I don't want to say names, but I can already hear people. They're gonna be like, Dave Bautista, you know, we watched him go from Guardians of the Galaxy not being that great to now he's this, you know, Dave Bautista even in Guardians 3 still wasn't that great of an actor. He was just a better Drax,
Yeah.
and still not even the real Drax. So
Mega Zero said, I only have zero knowledge on God of War, but I'm excited for Sonic 3 and Knuckles spin-off.
I'm excited for Sonic 2. I'm telling you, but that God of War stuff, it is dope. Even if you don't play the game, you can go watch the cinematics on YouTube. Just watch the story. It's a dope story.
Dexter said they can start with Norse mythology and use the important events from the Greek mythology as flashbacks.
They can do that,
They
and
can
I
do
expect them to probably do that because, like I said, that's a massive story to tell.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't really even expect them to tell too much of like the beginning or origins or anything. I'm really expecting them to start with something entertaining to try and get niggas hooked in, and then there's gonna be flashback sequences, or even we'll get that one whole origin episode. Like, fucking everyone does, like second to last episode, going back and explaining everything.
Yeah, Amazon's trying to find their one, like, big moneymaker show. I mean, they did it with The Boys, but then, like Hugh said, they moved on from The Boys and did the whole Gen X.
They got season 4 of The Boys coming out.
Okay. I just feel like they're trying to find something that's their Game of Thrones, or their, you know what I mean, like that really big production show.
Shit, I ain't gonna lie, The Boys is there.
I mean, it is The Boys.
I just feel like stick to what you know. So I mean, I guess.
Yeah, are you telling Amazon to shut up and dribble?
Yeah, pretty much. Because I mean, as much as it sounds cool, like you guys said, there's so many concerns. There's so many concerns.
I mean, I agree because I agree to an extent. I do agree to an extent because it's like you look at Invincible season 2. Invincible season 2 is not that great.
I mean, it's Invincible, but the plot of it just... Yeah. It's kind of like Gen V was. It's like The Boys. I mean, the entertaining, gruesome, violent shit is there. I mean, there's some cool story elements, but the plot of the season is...
Yeah. Anybody else say anything?
Shit. Stamina said Batista is mindful of getting typecast. He wants to be as good an actor as he can. To that end, he might even decline a role like the one under discussion here.
He may.
True.
He might. But I still think that's going to be their top choice.
And then last two, D-Seal said whoever they cast better be tall with gray skin. And Raymond said, get Denzel Washington to do it. Every casting choice should have Denzel Washington at the top of the list, no matter the character. Denzel for Squirrel Girl would be amazing. Nutty.
Okay.
No pun intended.
We'll move here to the next topic. Next topic is going to be something we kind of touched on last week, and that was the rumors around Colman Domingo taking on the role of Kang the Conqueror in the MCU. Now, before I jump into that, I do want to say this every single time. I feel like I shouldn't have to say this every single time, but I feel like I get heat a little bit on Twitter about it. I like Jonathan Majors. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. I like Jonathan Majors. I wanted Jonathan Majors to continue on as Kang. I mean, I call it a witch hunt and all those other things. But just because I am for the Colman Domingo recast does not then mean I do not still want him in the role. But the reality, I think some of us get caught up in fantasy and what we want and what is the reality. And the reality of it is Marvel fired Jonathan Majors and like...
Oh no, the reality of the situation is what niggas is praying for on this channel for their favorite character. I mean, the reality of the situation is what we about to talk about Margot Robbie saying. The reality of the situation is...
Thank you. That's it.
The reality of the situation is what happens in Hollywood is that one character is simply never tied to one actor.
Mm-hmm.
And that does not mean that we're not advocating for it.
When one actor's time is done, whether it's death, whether they get fired, whether they quit, whether...
Right.
Well, however those dominoes fall into place, it's the role must go on
every single time. And I mean, that's the thing. And I think I said this the last time I was talking about it was, it's not me not saying I don't want Jonathan Majors in the role, but again, that goes back to the reality of things. He's not in the role, so why then would I deny another brother like Colman Domingo? Exactly, the opportunity. Like it's kind of like people that
for a petition.
Exactly, I don't, and I'm not, and I'm not. And here's the thing, and I fully support my brothers out there that like Dre Mac that are going so hard on the Jonathan Majors. And I wanted to talk about I haven't watched it yet. That's why it wasn't a topic. I wanted to talk about the Good Morning America interview he's done, but I haven't watched it yet.
It came out.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it, and when I watch it, we'll discuss it. Once we all watch it, we'll discuss and things like that. But I'm not saying
his PR team
tired. I'm not saying that to say don't have the discussions about him or anything like that. I'm just simply saying the reality of it is he is not. And I'm not going to deny or not root for Colman Domingo to be Kang or anything like that. It's no different than people getting upset about, I guess, some of us not advocating. Ooh, do I want to say that? Oh, I don't. I'm not joining the Twitter or the YouTube drama, so I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to do that. But we don't pick and choose who is put in a movie.
Right.
We don't pick and choose. We only cover the news. We only are covering what Marvel does and the moves they make, or DC or Star Wars, whoever the fuck it may be. We cover those moves. And if we don't like those moves, recast T'Challa, then we'll join that movement.
Right.
I don't like the move of not firing Jonathan Majors, but when I say this, please don't take this the wrong way. I'm still advocating for all of you that are supporting this. But a petition is not then going to change. You can't compare the recast petition to the Jonathan petition because those are two different petitions. They're both petitions, but the grounds of the petitions are different. Jonathan was fired because he was found guilty in a court of law.
Shit, I can.
Marvel didn't recast T'Challa because they were in their feelings. Two different things.
The first one didn't work. The second one not gonna work. I'm sorry, but shit, we knew this. I don't know why we sitting here and talk about it. We
I just wanted to
No. I'm just saying, like,
out.
in the grand scheme of things, we knew this shit was a witch hunt. We watched all the evidence. We watched the nigga be prosecuted as guilty for trying to get away. Essentially, we knew they were gonna get that nigga by the smallest little action and everything. And so we knew Marvel was gonna fire him. We knew everything. Like, I don't even know why.
I'm thinking about that when you said he ran away. I'm thinking about that video Cornelius posted on Twitter of Jonathan as what's the dude's name from Loki? Victor Timely running. He said Jonathan Majors, actual footage of Jonathan Majors.
No, but it's
shit is
it's
funny.
crazy because, like, we knew all this shit was gonna happen. Like, we knew the nigga was, in my mind, he's still innocent.
He's innocent in my mind,
and that's why it's like I don't think he did anything.
No,
but it's like what they found him guilty of, the smallest of little speck of assaulting while trying to get away or whatever. We knew Marvel was gonna fire him after that. We knew they weren't gonna keep a nigga in the role. I mean, obviously, and that's the thing I was even looking at. Would they recast him as a white person in the comics or anything? I don't know, but at this point, it's like, I don't even care. Like, as soon as these niggas brought up Doctor Doom, let's go ahead and get to that. I don't know why we're still wasting all this time on Kang, if I'm being honest, because if you're looking at your numbers and how your audience took it, it's not like they're hooked on Kang. Any nigga talking about Kang is talking about Jonathan Majors' performance. That's what it's not like any Marvel has wrote anything good for Kang yet.
That's it. And you know what? I mentioned that when I was talking about the Colman Domingo thing. When I first started talking about the him getting looked at by Marvel, I said, you know, it's funny. Everybody's talking about the next face who's going to be the next person to replace Jonathan Majors? Who's going to be the next black face to replace Jonathan Majors? It's going to be this face. It's going to be this face. But no one was. Some of us were, but no one was talking about the reason Jonathan Majors was even placed in the role to begin with, and that was something that Marvel themselves said. It was because he captured the room with his performance as He Who Remains from Loki season 1. That's the thing that's going to be hard to capture. And just because I'm advocating for Colman Domingo does not then mean that I think that Colman Domingo has the gravitas that Jonathan Majors brought to the role. That's still, Colman Domingo doesn't have that. I like Colman Domingo, but does he have that I am Kang attitude? No, I don't think so. I don't think any actor they put in that role is going to be able to bring the world-classness that Jonathan Majors brought to it. But it's still the conversation of, fuck, they are going to possibly recast him because it's they have a story that they're going to tell. Yeah. And that story may, from what Daniel RPK said, may still involve him. And from what other scoopers have said, may not involve him as much. But if the rumors are true, they did reach out to Colman Domingo, and Colman Domingo, as we talked about the last time, said, or he didn't know any, or it was just the eyeing him the last time. But as recently, he has come out on and address the rumor, and I will read this. This is coming from the Direct. It says, actor Colman Domingo commented on Kang the Conqueror rumors on whether he might replace Jonathan Majors as the MCU's next big bad. Following the recent roles in Rustin and The Color Purple, the Emmy Award-winning Domingo lit up the internet after industry scooper Daniel Richmond claimed he's a contender to continue the on-screen role of Kang. It goes on to say, in talking with E.T., Colman Domingo admitted he's aware of the Kang-related recast speculation. However, the 54-year-old actor confessed he doesn't know how much is true. And then it goes on to say, in addition to the filmography consisting of films like Selma, Zola, and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Colman Domingo is both a Broadway and television star, as well as a writer and director. He even directed the multiple episodes of Fear of the Walking Dead, in which he also starred as Victor Strand. Talk of the need for a new star like Domingo to play in Marvel Comics' time-traveling tyrant first arose in March 2023 after Jonathan Majors was arrested, I didn't know that, for assault. Majors' role as Kang was intended to be the MCU's new Thanos-level villain and the cornerstone of its current multiversal saga. Once Jonathan Majors was found guilty in December, Marvel Studios fired the actor, leaving fans to question who the studio would recast, or if a completely different villain would be considered. But even though the Philadelphia-born Domingo cast doubt the rumor validity, but he's appreciative of the fan base. Positive reactions saying something speaking lovely and kindly about something is a beautiful thing. But I will play what he said. Richmond went on to say a few things. He went on to say, even if the Colman Domingo allegations are true, that doesn't mean that Marvel Studios' final choice for Kang. In Daniel Richmond's post, he alleged it's still in the early days, and Domingo is one of the options that was brought up to replace Jonathan Majors, suggesting that there could be more. And then it goes, the last thing it says, but even so, Domingo's response of "I don't know how much of it's true" certainly wasn't a definitive denial, and the fact he enjoyed the positive response means he's absolutely aware of the online buzz and not opposed to the idea, as Marvel Studios looks to rework and retool its upcoming movies and Disney Plus series, as well as plans for the integral villain. It's tough to predict when a recast could be announced, but in the meantime, despite Domingo's denial, he's likely to remain part of the fan base speculation. But this is what he said on it.
Fans want to see you as Kang.
I know that's a really wonderful thing. I'd be delighted to join the MCU if they have room for me. I don't know. I think it's a beautiful thing to join the MCU. I know that I would love to play someone interesting. I don't know. So if there are conversations being had, that's lovely. I don't know, but I think it's wonderful. You know.
The internet's going to campaign to get you.
The internet can be an incredible place. It could also be many complicated places. And right now it seems to be, I don't know, when you get a little love from people talking about your work and imagining you to be part of a universe, it's a beautiful thing. So I'm thankful no matter just being in the conversation.
Okay, so, and we talked about also the last time that we showed the video of him saying that he has always, and this was an 7-year-old video, that he wanted to be in the MCU or DC or as a villain. So, I mean, if they do, from what Daniel Richmond said, it's in some capacity, and, you know, Daniel Richmond since then has kind of been spotty with some of his scoops, you know, with the whole Sentry thing and on. So we don't really know. I mean, like with any of these scoops, we never know. But we'll have to wait and see if Marvel really is looking at Colman Domingo, if Kang is actually going to continue on the MCU. Is it going to be Doctor Doom? Is it going to be someone else? You know, we've even heard in rumors that the Council of Kangs is being replaced with several different Marvel villains throughout the multiverse, and they are going to be the ones that are going to be replacing the Council of Kangs. How true that is, I don't know. None of us really know anything right now besides the scoops and things that we're reading. And like I said, that's a film that does not come out until 2027. So we have some time. We have some time to see exactly what Marvel's going to do, what the plot's going to be, what's going to happen. There are some things happening within, which we're going to get to in the next topic, and that's the Daredevil stuff. There's some things happening within the ground level that's going to lead into a lot of the multiversal stuff that's going on. But as of right now, as far as what the exact moves for Marvel are going to be with Kang and moving forward as the being involved, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think, because I was just having this discussion the other day with somebody else, I feel like no matter what, I mean, obviously they've made their choice to recast, they've made that very clear, but beforehand, like, whether they went recast or not, no matter what, they're still not appealing to us whatsoever, because you recast them, then it proves the whole recast T'Challa. Like, we could have easily pushed this movie back and recasted him and continued the storyline. But if you don't, then that's just another black character that you're just allowing to just dissipate from your universe. So no matter what they were going to do, Marvel was going to look like the shit. Or look shitty, which they have been. So, as far as Colman Domingo, I can see it, but I don't think I'm necessarily like 100% with it.
Yeah, I mean,
I really don't even know how I feel
depends.
about Kang at this point in general. Like,
That's a whole nother.
you know what I mean? Like, so to sit here and talk about a recast for a movie that's coming out in 3 years, it's just like I have nothing to really
Yeah.
say about this topic.
Like I said, when I don't believe Marvel themselves even has a clear vision of where they're going and
Exactly.
with what it is. But I mean, and also on the whole, not to open up conversational worms of anything like that, but on does Kang matter? I don't personally care anymore.
Right,
don't.
like the way he's
I
been set
don't.
up, like he doesn't.
I don't
Like,
care anymore. I don't personally
no.
care anymore about seeing Kang or if he's going to be there. You know, I can't help but every time I see that, and I just recently saw it, that clip of him screaming, I just think of Q and I laugh because that shit is just so fucking funny.
That's what I'm laughing.
I knew that's what it had to be. That shit is so funny. When he's turning around in the arena and he's screaming, we laughed in the theater. That shit was so I mean that's
Dad,
my
when
memory
he
of
said his
Kang.
little speech.
Yes. That's my memories of Jonathan Majors as Kang. Obviously, there's some cool shit, but I mean, like I said, I don't care. I don't care if Kang
It's what
continues.
some comments said, what you said, what I said. It's their writing for Kang. It's Jonathan Majors had us. That was
That's
the
what locked us
appeal.
in.
Like, the writing's been shit. I don't know. You could throw another good actor, but if the good actor isn't Kang, like Jonathan Majors was Kang. He put himself like how Heath Ledger was the Joker, how T'Challa or how Boseman was T'Challa. They put themselves in the role.
Yeah.
We can't say another good actor is gonna put himself in
the
that role.
yeah.
Especially how complicated even that is. We're talking about complicated roles today. That's shit. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 personas you're playing. And so if they go that route of staying with one person,
Right.
and so I don't want to stay on it too long. I assume we're about to go to comments, but there's hell of them. Raptor said a recast for Kang wouldn't mean anything unless they get better writers to stop clowning him every appearance.
Exactly.
That too. Yep.
Stamina said, I think legalities prevented them from laying down roots for something they couldn't confidently pay off as regards Doom. Still might for all we know. Xavier said they should.
No. Who said that one?
Stamina.
I don't know on that one, Stamina, and the only reason I say the legality may not have is because we have to remember Fantastic Four was announced in 2019's D24. Phase 4 did not start until 2019, but with WandaVision and everything like that. So if they announced it in D24's 2019 D23, they had the rights for the Fantastic Four before Phase 4. So they could have started laying the groundwork for Doom when they announced it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's not forget the rumors. Doom was supposed to be in Wakanda. Don't let the internet lie to you. Dr. Doom was supposed to be in Wakanda Forever.
Bro, they were teasing that shit in, in Moon Knight.
Yeah.
The fucking beginning episode and the cupcake shit.
Yes.
They were talking about that
Latveria
shit. They were
shit,
talking
yes.
about that shit with Namor even when Dr. Doom wasn't in.
Exactly.
They were talking about he's the
So they had the rights to Doom. They could have done it.
Raymond said Jonathan was great as Kang, but I wouldn't put him on Chadwick, Robert, or Heath levels. No, definitely not the levels they perform. I'm just talking about in sense of immersing themselves in the role
Into
of
the
the character.
character.
But then again, that's also not fair because we also don't know what Jonathan could have done if he would have had the 10 years that a Robert Downey Jr. had.
Better writing.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
from what we saw of Jonathan as Kang, the moments where he, pushed past the terrible writing and just let his acting shine.
It was there.
Yeah, he was there. I'd say. I mean, I agree with you. He's not. I mean, but I just feel like.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
D. Steele said Doom is superior to Kang in every way, and they should have kept Ultron around. I agree.
From the rumors, Ultron. I mean, he's coming. He's supposed
Ultron
to be there.
is around.
Yeah.
This what if shit they want to do. And shit.
Yeah.
Raymond then said, do not go to Doom. Dr. Doom cannot be shoehorned in at this point. Doom needs to be built up and established for a minute first. Yeah, no, I wouldn't shoehorn anything in at this moment in their current situation, but in terms of who the main villain needs to be for the story that they're wanting to tell in the end, I never understood the reason from switching it from the comic villain in Doom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Never understood
It never
that.
made
So,
sense. It just as it. Actually, go ahead.
us being in 2024 and that
Let's talk
shit
about
not
that.
coming out for a while, you have those minutes to build that character up.
Exactly.
And so I'd rather see that than them trying to figure out who are we going to cast for Kang, and then what are we going to do, and how is he going to do, and oh no, we don't like anyone, so are we gonna kill him off now here and then go? Figuring all that shit out can just go Doom now. Get those steps laid, like you said, and then.
And even even if they didn't go Doom, what villain would you put in place in Secret Wars? To have
None.
It doesn't make sense.
None?
That's what I'm piggybacking off of Q. Like, I think it would make more, like, I hate to say it, but I think it would make more sense now to get rid of K and start implementing Doom. Because we literally have 3 full whole years, if they don't push it back even more.
Well, it's going to be the Beyonder. It's still going to be the Beyonder,
Yeah,
just from what we
they're
know
gonna
from
do the
rumors and
Beyonder
things.
Kang shit.
Yeah.
They're gonna do that shit.
It's still going to be the Beyonder.
I just feel like if one character is not working for you, just
I mean, there's
I just feel like there's time.
there's that, and then there's also the only thing that could make it make sense if you don't do Doom and you do. I mean, that still doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. I was gonna say the Jim Shooter '80s version, but Doom is still a prevalent character in the '80s Secret Wars, not just in Hickman's. So it's. I mean, they have the rights to both. When they acquired the rights to Hickman's Secret Wars, they also got the rights to Jim Shooter's from the '80s. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, for me, Doom has to be a part of Secret Wars. I've said that since day one as well. I just don't. It never made sense.
Here's my question. I mean, just because reading some of Raymond's comments about building Doom up and everything. If they go Doom now, build him up properly and everything, and Secret Wars ends how it's supposed to end and everything, that still doesn't have to be the end of Doctor Doom. In my mind. Like, when they get to that next phase of everything, whether they want to recast or stick with the same person, they can still go with Doom and everything.
Yeah.
I don't think Secret Wars ending is the end for
Doom.
not just Doom, but I think some characters are still going to be there in some roles, or some actors are still going to be in some roles after Secret Wars.
Yeah.
And so,
like
to think that they couldn't do that with Doom is kind of...
Right.
Unless... And, I mean, we're talking Marvel, unless they just go the route of, how Feige even said he wanted to kill they like just killing niggas off, especially villains, so... Hey.
Right. And also, from what just the rumor mill, things I hear in those spaces and things like that, I mean, Marvel's not stupid. They're looking at it right now. They're looking at what the MCU looks like without your heavy hitters, without the people without your characters. I think, and again, we're going to get to the conversation when we get to the Daredevil stuff. So I really don't want to say this part, but Marvel is, I mean, they're seeing it. They see that B-listers, C-listers, D-listers don't
put asses in the seat.
It's not working.
Yeah.
So, like Iron Man, from what we know from some of these spaces, Iron Man, Captain America, it's not going to be Robert Downey Jr. It's not going to be Chris Evans, but those characters are still going to be a part of this new reboot, and not just as, I mean, they're going to still be a part of this new reboot because they need those names. Like I said, that the speed-listers ain't gonna.
I'm gonna read a few more so we can move on.
Yeah.
But Raymond said, but knowing what Doom is and what he's become in Secret Wars, God, Emperor Doom, we've kind of seen the best of Doom at that point. That's like starting a Naruto series with him having full control of Kurama. No, I completely agree. It's like we may not see any more or anything better from Doom after Secret Wars, but I don't know. It's kind of like, in my opinion, we may not see anything better from Wanda.
Right.
Yeah, outside from Multiverse of Madness and even WandaVision and everything, we might not get better from her. Like, we probably will, we could, but we might not.
Right.
We might not get better from Doctor Strange the way they're going from the first movie, because I think he acted better in the first than the second, just from screen. Even from Infinity War and shit. You know, it's like we may not get the best version of any of these characters that we've already kind of seen and everything. And so it's like, I don't know, it's like, it's kind of whichever way they want to tip the scales or everything. If they want to get rid of someone, or if they just want to keep a powerful villain in their universe and everything.
Yeah. Oh, dang. Who said... Dang, go ahead.
I was going to scroll up, but the latest one said, Jay Namakali said, see, what I'm afraid of is going to happen is because these new characters weren't received well, that now people are going to think they're lame, and then they're not going to get the recognition they deserve.
Yeah, I said the same thing. Because I said that about She-Hulk when we were talking last time. I don't like that show, but there are moments, a lot of moments, in my opinion, in Marvel Comics, in Marvel Comics for She-Hulk is dope. And I like... So she's not like a terrible character. The MCU just
didn't write her well.
It's the same. It's that same syndrome. It's that same syndrome that people take with T'Challa. That the MCU fans take with T'Challa. That think that version of T'Challa is just this OP version of T'Challa. It's like, no, bro. Pick up a comic. You have no idea. Yeah, you have no idea.
Ain't seen top 5.
Yeah, like, y'all ain't even scratching the surface.
Right. So I'm like, so it's that same syndrome. It's those people thinking like, yeah, it's that same thing. So, but well, that's why I wanted to say what Raymond said. Phase 4 started in 2021. I thought Phase 4 started with WandaVision. Wasn't that 2020?
Beginning of 2020.
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say 2021. That's No Way Home.
I don't know if...
I remember watching that during the pandy. Wasn't it? Or was it not during...
I know Wanda
it was during the pandemic.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was beginning of 2020.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I know Wanda was for sure, but I don't know about No Way Home. I think No Way Home...
No Way Home was 2021.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, it was... Sam says 2021, beginning of the year. And that's what I was thinking, because it was after...
WandaVision was?
Yeah. It was after I graduated. I graduated 2020. And that shit didn't come out when I was in high school.
That's right. The pandemic put everything back.
Yeah.
That's right.
I remember because I watched the first episode in Colorado on my trip.
What the fuck did I watch during the pandemic? Clone Wars season 7. That's what it was. I was like, I watched something during the pandemic that had me up, and it was okay. We'll move here to the next topic.
Last one, just because it's on topic. Jay Namakali then said, like all the Phase 4 characters aren't even bad characters. They have amazing and complex stories, but since the MCU doesn't want to hire good writers, people aren't going to remember these characters.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. It's not... I mean, you could maybe say some of the actors aren't acting to their best potential, but then again, that goes back on writing, production, shit, the way their stories are being told, and so I completely agree. Like,
right.
I think, like, even, like you said, She-Hulk, I think Moon Knight needs a lot more attention than what he got. Even fucking, I don't know how they're going to elaborate on this Loki shit, but I don't feel like he's about to get any more attention either. Right. And it's like, I don't know. A lot of these characters, shit, my favorite character, I don't know. I agree.
All right. We'll move here to the next topic. Next topic is just going to be some Daredevil updates, and this Daredevil updates kind of come with a few MCU updates, and these MCU updates are kind of hopeful. It's kind of one of these things where it's like, damn, okay, maybe they're getting some shit together over there, and some things are making sense. Now, I'm sure almost everyone, I don't know if anyone was as interested or anything like that. I don't know who's seen Echo in the chat or not. Obviously, we have not seen it yet, but who's seen Echo in the chat. But Echo, I'm going to add in this. So if you have not seen it, there's a little spoilers, or whatever. What we know about Daredevil so far. Marvel we know that Daredevil was originally should have come out this year. Or should have been filming. Yeah, should have come out this year. Daredevil was going to originally come out this year. It's still going to be the 18 episodes, but it's no longer going to be the 18 episode. I'm sorry, still going to be the 18 episodes, but no longer coming out this year. Okay. Kevin Feige and company went in to observe what they already had done for Daredevil, and once he saw what was done for Daredevil, fired the directors, fired the writers, fired everyone, and said, we got to start this from scratch because this is absolutely not going to work at all. The original script for Daredevil and plot had Daredevil in retirement, so this is still going to be playing off of. So just for everybody that's been wondering in the past few days, I'm sure you've been watching other YouTubers have seen these articles because we haven't been able to cover it, but the Netflix stuff is now canon to the MCU, and with that now being canon to the MCU, they are kind of picking up where the Netflix show, some of the events from the Netflix show are going to be in the are going to still be canon in the Disney Plus iteration of the Daredevil show, and that is that Foggy is dead and Karen Page is also dead, and that is what forced Daredevil into retirement. And we were going to, in the original script, he was going to be in retirement, and this is that typical Phase 4 MCU formula. Mm-hmm. He was going to be in retirement for the first 4 episodes. We weren't going to see him in his suit until the very end of the 4th episode, and I'm talking very end in a post-credit scene type deal.
Oh, shit.
And that's 4 of the 18 episodes. So Marvel and company wanted us to sit there and do this patty cake handy shit with them that we've been doing for all Phase 4 and watch Matt Murdock be a lawyer that's depressed and retired because his friends died. Again, speaks to the same formula, but they rewrote that. That's all different. Now, he's still retired. He's still upset about, retired because of the events that happened with Foggy and Karen. But it's not going to be for 4 episodes. It's going to be for, I believe, 1 episode. We're going to see him in the suit in the first episode, I believe, or it's either the first or the second. And that's what's going to bring him. What's going to bring him out of retirement is going to be, and I'll share this with everyone now. Muse. Now, Muse is not like a well-known character like that in Marvel comic, or not Marvel comics, or Marvel fans, or especially the MCU fans. But Muse is one of Daredevil's more darker characters. Muse is a character that will take the body parts of his victims. I'm sorry, I don't have that on key. Take the body parts of his victims and make art with them. He's an artist in that way, so he'll take heads and yeah, and things like that. One thing we did know about Daredevil is that was always going to be kind of that darker tone. Somebody had said that Muse was always going to be the villain. I don't remember that being early on in the Daredevil days, but maybe he was. He was always going to be the villain in the show. And Muse is what's going to force Daredevil out of retirement. All the killings and the things that's going on, the dismemberments and the bloody and the whole crime mystery around it is what's going to force Daredevil out of retirement. And then we're going to see him going at it with Muse for those people that these panels from the comics there. That we're going to see a more darker version of Daredevil, and Kingpin is still going to play a version in this show, or play in the show. Vincent D'Onofrio recently sat down with Screen Rant, and I didn't talk about it, but I mentioned it because I didn't read the article, and I still haven't read the article, so forgive me. But Vincent D'Onofrio sat down with Screen Rant, and they were talking about how Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin may be the owner. We will find out at the end of Deadpool that he may be the owner of Avengers Tower now, and things like that. And that plays more into that whole Kingpin, what we know about Devil's Reign, him possibly being the mayor of, which we're going to see him campaigning to be the mayor of New York in Daredevil, and then so on and so forth. Those events will bleed into Spider-Man 4, which I'm going to get to in just a second. But so we know that Muse is going to be a part of it. We know that Daredevil is still going to be the 18 episodes, but it's going to be a little bit darker now. And we also know that with the events of Kingpin in Echo and the Echo show. And I do want to get on that really quick. Sorry, let me jump to that really quick. The Echo show. The Echo show was, as I've talked about many times, reworked and reworked and reworked and reworked and reworked. At one time, Daredevil wasn't going to be in the show, then he was going to be in the show, then he was going to be in the third episode, then it was going to be 6 episodes, now it's 5 episodes, they moved him to the first episode. The show has been reworked. And, you know, the producer, one of the producers on the show, this is one of the producers I've not ever really heard Kevin Feige talk about, I've never heard him talk about this guy, but I like him. I watched a couple things that he's done, talked about with Marvel, things that he's been a part of with Marvel, and he's a part of the Echo show, he's a part of Daredevil, and he just kind of shed some light, and I'm going to watch it with you guys, but he shed some light here on Vincent D'Onofrio's role as Kingpin and what that's going to look like going forward. He talked about how the Marvel Spotlight series was more formed during post of Echo, which tells me, and that should tell everyone, that the Echo show was never fully put together. And again, we've talked about that. Like, it's better example. We talked about when they were doing showings for the Echo show, how the responses for the Echo show weren't coming back positive. The responses for Daredevil Born Again weren't coming back positive. So they went in and reworked everything. So I believe, because if you remember also, she wasn't going to have powers. The powers came in at post, I believe. The whole connecting with Daredevil, like all that was done in post, I believe. A lot of that was done in the post for Echo. From what I've heard, Echo's still not that great. People did not really enjoy it that much, but we'll see when we watch it. But yeah, so the stuff that's going on with Spider-Man bleeding into this, and this kind of goes into that the stuff with Doctor Strange and a bunch of other things. We know that Spider-Man 4 is supposed to be a Civil War Part 2 type of film that is supposed to culminate in with a multiversal deal leading into the events of whatever Avengers 5 is going to be retitled, if it is retitled. We also know that we're not supposed to be seeing Doctor Strange in Spider-Man 5, and we're not or Spider-Man 5 in Avengers 5. And at first I questioned that, and I'm like, that doesn't make no fucking sense, because you're now eliminating a lot of characters that play pivotal roles in the Secret Wars story that you're trying to get to telling. But Doctor Strange is, from what we know from the post-credit scenes, obviously going to be with Clea and the whole Black Priest deal. She's supposed to be the leader of the Black Priest. That's as of now. Don't know if that's going to change or anything, but as of now, she's supposed to be the leader of the Black Priest. Her and her and Strange are trying to stop this incursion, or that he caused, or whatever. The events of that film, or whatever's supposed to be going on in that film, are going to bleed into Avengers 6. And that's where, now, Doctor Strange is supposed to show up at the end of Avengers 5, because he's the one the Avengers are going to be in some big, they're going to be down bad, obviously. We all know that. They're going to be getting their asses beat in Avengers 5.
Right.
Strange is the one that comes to the rescue, from what we know in the rumors so far. Strange is the one that's supposed to come to the rescue at the end of Avengers 5, and it turns the tide for Avengers 6. Still getting their asses kicked somewhat in Avengers 6, but it turns the tide somewhat. So then that puts Strange in the fold of being the titular character with Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, not our Iron Man that died in Endgame, different Iron Man, different universe, same Robert Downey Jr., Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. From what we know so far, those are the rumored leaders of the film.
For Avengers 5 or for Secret Wars?
For Avengers 5, it's still those ones minus Strange.
Okay.
But for Avengers 6, it's all of them plus Strange.
Okay. Makes sense.
So we're supposed to see all these things again start to culminate with some of these ground level events and start to take off, and with the rewritings and things like that. But I do like the fact that Muse is in it. Like I said, he's not a well-known character like that, but I like the fact that it's going to be taking this darker, which we kind of knew from the beginning. Charlie Cox said it was going to be a gory. It wasn't going to. What did he say? I don't remember exactly what he said. It wasn't going to be as bloody as. That's what he said. It wasn't going to be as bloody, but it's going to be dark toned, and that's whatever. Fine. So I like the fact that we'll see that. We'll just have to honestly wait to see what the show looks like. I haven't seen
I'm
Echo.
more excited for this shit.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
I've been saying I don't want this big multiversal, big storytelling shit. I'd rather with Daredevil stick to how the Netflix had it. Keep that shit singular, not even singular, but to include the other characters. But keep that story like. I hate to say it like this, but kind of as dumbed down as possible. Like, I don't like how they try to bring all this multiversal shit, all the fucking magical shit into this. Like, I don't know. I don't think street level even need, and that's when you said this is gonna lead into, it's like, why the fuck is something street level going to lead into
what the
something
events are? I'm not exactly sure.
It's like I get what it is, but it's like, why not have something? I hate to say it, like, why not have something like Doctor Strange that's actually a multiversal story lead into the multiversal chaos? I don't know. Like, why take a story like The Punisher or Daredevil that's street level and then have the events of that lead up to?
And see, that's the thing too, is whatever the events are is what's going to put Daredevil smack as one of the characters in Avengers 5 as well, because Daredevil is going to play a role in Avengers 5. So what role that's going to be, I guess we're going to find out at the end when it bleeds into the multiversal shit that's going on. But he's also in Avengers 5. That I forget the director talked about that. But I will play here what was his name? I forget his. Yes, Brad Winderbaum. What Brad Winderbaum had to say about some of the stuff going on with Echo and Kingpin and Daredevil and etc.
You don't need to know what happened to Thanos to enjoy this show.
Yo, let me tell you, Echo is phenomenal. Like, I love stories like Ozark, Sons of Anarchy, and this is like the MCU version of that, and I absolutely love it.
Thank you so much for saying that.
Has the Marvel Spotlight, has that been thought of for a while prior to Hawkeye, or when did you guys make that decision to focus on Marvel Spotlight?
Marvel Spotlight was something that we came up with in post-production on Echo. It's interesting, having been a film producer and a television producer, learning sometimes the hard way the difference between the two mediums. Right. A film is like a statement, but a show is like a conversation. Sure. And it's a conversation with multiple writers in the room. It's a conversation with your directors, the ensemble cast. It's longer. It takes place over a longer period of time, and ultimately, it's a conversation with the culture. Sure. So, as part of the cultural conversation, it was important for this show to set expectations in a way that told the audience or conveyed that you don't need to know what happened to Thanos to enjoy this show. You can. Sure. You can, and she lives and breathes in the same world, but you don't have to. Sure. And we wanted as many people to experience this show as possible, so anyone who's a casual fan or doesn't know any of the other stuff could jump in blind and enjoy it on its own terms.
Speaking of Thanos, it feels like Wilson Fisk is kind of like the Thanos of this street level corner of the MCU. Is that the case going forward? Is he kind of like what we're building towards?
Oh man, you kind of hit the nail on the head. I can't say too much, only that as a chapter in Wilson Fisk's life, this is a crucial one, and sets the stage in some remarkable ways for what's coming next.
Can you talk about working with the Choctaw Nation to kind of bring this authenticity to Maya?
Yeah, I mean, they were partners since the beginning. Sid, our director and executive producer, went to Oklahoma and pitched the show, and always had a very talk about a conversational approach. Sure. That's always been Sid's vibe. She's one of the most collaborative filmmakers I've ever worked with, and I think certainly that was the case with her interactions with Choctaw Nation, and they were part of the DNA of the show from the beginning. It's I would say, like, sometimes consultants kind of are a layer on top. This was like it's all braided together.
Right. In that first episode, we see this amazing fight scene with Daredevil and Maya. It is absolutely incredible.
It's not incredible.
Now I have a question about Daredevil. Is everything that happened on the Netflix series a part of the sacred timeline, or is it not?
So I can say that we've been up until this point, we've been a little bit cagey about what's sacred timeline, what's not sacred timeline. That was born of frankly, a period at the studio where we were like,
This part, though.
we have to stick the landing with Avengers.
Sure.
You know, it was another part of the company developing the Netflix stuff. We were aware of what they were doing. They were aware of what we were doing, but it was a lot. It was a lot to balance anyway. But now that some time has passed, now that we see how well integrated the stories are, I think that I personally, Brad Winderbaum, would be confident in saying it is part of the Sacred Time.
Well, Brad, amazing, man. Look,
Now,
Echo.
This brother here comparing, I haven't seen Echo, so I can't speak to its validity, but comparing Echo to Ozark. Some big ass shoes to fill.
Like, this nigga.
Ozark is one of
Excuse
the
my
best
language,
shows.
but this nigga just dick rode that whole energy. Like, why are we comparing Kingpin to Thanos? What we need to do is get off Thanos nuts.
Man,
Because
that's...
Thanos may have been the MCU's best villain, but comic-wise, that nigga is not. Like, I don't know why the average watcher of the MCU thinks it can't get better than Thanos.
Because that is
and
the
I don't know
best
why
that Marvel's ever given.
And I was about to say, I don't know why the MCU seems to think that we have to do everything how we did.
But-
In my mind, if they were to keep going with Ultron, the way they were writing him is more sophisticated, complicated. Could be. There's so many more villains out there that are just so much more complex than a big purple nigga who wants to save the planet. Like, the nigga is honestly a hero, if you want to be honest.
He's a vigilante.
Like, no, the nigga is honestly a hero. If you want, like, at what cost? Yeah, but like to save the world, like, come on, bro. And then, yeah, I'm reading comics. What the fuck are we? Wilson Fisk, bro. Like, this nigga is.
No, but I just going
niggas,
off of what you
bro.
were saying. Like, I think everyone stuck to Thanos because one, he's the best that Marvel MCU has ever given us, but two, it was another actor that embodied himself into the role, and for three, we had time to fear him. We got a build up for a good decade before we got to really be introduced to Thanos. So, and then we're going into this phase, and we're not scared of anyone. The person that they just try to give us got their ass whooped by ants.
I mean, again, we don't even know who the...
And then now we don't even know who the big bad villain is. So it's like, but I will say, I mean, yeah, Fisk is not like the biggest villain of all time, but again, it goes back to the actor. He embodies him, like, he did an amazing job in Deadpool. Or in Daredevil with the Netflix series.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see him in Echo. I'm excited to see his story continue because the story was written so well. Like, the last time I saw him, he got his ass beat by Daredevil. And basically had to restart all over again.
Now, to some of those events, I'm not sure if those are the same, because this Wilson Fisk, if we do make some key notices here, and there were some leaks about this, I don't know for sure if he has the super soldier serum or if he has some type of something, but he is not the same Wilson Fisk body build that the Wilson Fisk was in the Netflix series, because this Wilson Fisk, he got hit by that car, didn't phase him, pulled that fucking arrow out of his chest.
Didn't phase him.
The nigga got shot
in the eye.
Yeah, I mean the comic, like, the nigga's here. I'm not saying none of that.
No, I'm not saying that to you. I'm just saying, like, I don't think they're the same.
Yeah, to compare them is, but
My-
even to compare Fisk to Thanos, like you said, it's like it's not. It's
But
not
I
fair.
think we're the main thing that Q was saying too, and I agree. It's the living on the past of Thanos.
Man,
Yeah.
like, can we step out? Like,
Yeah.
can we step out into something? Like,
Yeah.
even
We gotta
if
move
let's I'm sorry, I keep going back to my favorite, but if we were to go back to Dormammu, it's like I don't want them making Dormammu or Nightmare like, oh, let's see how close to Thanos level or we can get. No, and that's probably why all their villains fucking suck now. If I'm being honest,
Right.
they
Because
keep trying to
everybody
find
tries
ways
to be that
yeah.
Thanos level.
Exactly.
I mean, it's no
exactly
different.
That.
Here's a perfect example
Mm-hmm.
right here. Think the Marvels trailers. One of the last trailers for the Marvels was Thanos' voice. Because it's them trying to use the nostalgia of Thanos, the love for Thanos, to try to bring. Remember, there were the rumors that Thanos was supposed to be in fucking Eternals, but a younger version of him.
Right.
We're supposed to see that in the flashbacks. So, you know,
Yeah, a little skinny version.
yeah. So, like, I mean, I don't know. They do need to. Like I said, they got a year. They got this whole year.
My issue with
gotta
that
figure it
interview
out.
was the simple fact that this nigga hopped on. Echo was amazing. No, I ain't even seen it, and I just know damn well it's not because these niggas ain't put out an amazing TV show.
Well,
since
like I said, he
WandaVision.
lost me with the Daredevil scene is incredible. I've seen it. It's
Yeah, the shit.
not
Yeah,
incredible.
I
It's
mean,
not.
and then the nigga comparing it to Ozark, Sons of Anarchy,
Yeah.
like all the comparisons and shit.
Ozark.
Who are you trying to hype up, nigga? Like,
Right.
nigga, we all
much
know
should they pay
this.
you to
And then
say
another
this?
thing, I want to go back to what the director, whoever that nigga was, talking about. Oh, this is something where you don't need to know who that. Why the fuck would we need to know who nigga? This is Echo.
Echo, like,
We don't need to know who Echo. We don't need to know. I mean, we don't need to know who Thanos. We don't even know who Iron.
We don't even
Man
need to
is.
know about the
We
events
don't-
in New York.
Man, we don't need to know
Just to hang out with
fucking
Echo.
Stan Lee. We don't need to know anything. We don't need to know anything outside of Echo, Daredevil, and Wilson Fisk. So the simple fact that y'all are already trying to compare this nigga to the street level and build him up to be something he's not, no, like.
Yeah.
Bro, dude, that shit's already kind of pissing me off. Because the way I seen them handle Wilson and Hawkeye, I didn't like that shit, if
Oh,
I'm
I
being
did.
Oh
honest.
yeah, I was
And
like,
so,
what?
Yeah, I mean,
I forgot
love,
he was in. I fucking
I
forgot
love
about
Vincent.
Hawkeye.
Like, shit, that nigga Vincent D'Onofrio, same. If we go back to talk about characters and putting themselves in roles, that nigga is Wilson Fisk.
Right.
But he's not gonna have any creative control over the MCU. He might have at Netflix, but if the MCU and Disney tell that nigga do something, he's gonna have to do it. And so if we don't like that shit, and most likely I'm not gonna like it, because anytime the MCU or someone directs an actor to do something, it's usually not right. Go back to first Black Panther, them niggas wanting him to have a British accent. We go back to like, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Well, like I said, it's all going to be one of those things where they've got this whole year to try to pull strings together, put the focus on Deadpool, and then I don't know what the first thing is for 2025, but try to pull this shit together. Try to
They
pull
need
it
to,
together.
'cause holy fucking shit.
Yeah. Is there like maybe 2 or 3 standout ones there? And we'll move to the Margot.
Let me see. Tyron said Kingpin shouldn't beat Thanos because he's just one of them, like the Medea and Hammerhead, Tombstone, Silver Saint, Cloud Barracuda, M8, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
But I'm telling you, from what we've heard, yeah, the MCU is going to MCU, and he is going to have like some super soldier something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
of course.
Some Echo reviews and shit. Stamina said, I think they'd have been better off cherry picking than canonizing outright. But hey, folks are apparently happy now, which is also a rare. Small W overall. Yeah, them making every single thing in the Netflix universe canon is kind of complicated, but fuck it.
Yeah. But such good stories.
But you know, it's kind of like the very beginning of this, when they first said the canon, or that this story of Daredevil was not going to be a continuation of the Netflix story. All of us complained because it was like, why? And the Netflix writers even said, you know, they even came out and said it didn't make sense to them. So it's like, now is this Disney realizing what we all knew a long time ago, that you never should have not and had that shit canon and involving the Netflix writers in some capacity?
Guess we'll find out.
Not too many.
That's fine. We can go
Like,
to
there's
Margot.
some like conversations and small ones and shit.
Yeah, but that's really about it.
Okay, so last topic here we have is Margot, and this just falls in line again with what has been somewhat of a revamped hot topic, I can say. From what I've seen, it's been on a lot of people, it's been a lot of conversations, and I'm gonna get to the thing that I got tagged in, but Margot Robbie recently came out and said that she wants to pass on the torch of playing Harley Quinn to someone else, to Lady Gaga, to others, whatever. She doesn't want the role to solely go to her, and that's because Margot Robbie understands the business that she's in. She understands that I'm an actress, and I'm playing a role, and in that role that I'm playing, it's just a role. I don't take that role home with me. I embody that role while I'm being paid to do that role. But once that role is done, I am no longer this person. I am no longer, again, I find it interesting that we all like to pick and choose when a character or when a actual person becomes a character, when an actual person is not a character. And when I say that, for some people it's like, oh, this person can be recast. For some people it's like, no, this person can't be recast, and things like that. You look at the kid from Game of Thrones, how everybody looked at him and was actually sending him hate, in his Instagram DMs and things like that, because you saw him so much as that character. But at the end of the day, like I said, these are actors and actresses. They are not these people. And Margot Robbie understands that I'm not going to be the only person that plays Harley Quinn. I wasn't the first.
And I'm not going
to be the last. Yeah. She may have been the first, and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure. I could be very wrong here. Try to think before I say it. I believe she was the first live action Harley Quinn. I think she was the first one to portray her live action. However, she wasn't the first to voice Harley Quinn or things like that. I believe. I could be wrong on that.
No, because what's her Kaylee Kuko voices Quinn, or voices her on.
Yeah. Oh, does she? I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I started watching it. It's really good.
So it's like, so anyway, she gets it that these roles continue and whatever. But this is what exactly what she had to say about it. It said, it has already been established that Margot Robbie was the perfect person to portray the role of Harley Quinn over the past several years. While speaking with Variety, Margot Robbie admitted that she wanted to pass the Harley Quinn torch to someone else. I always wanted Harley to be a character that would get passed on to the other actress to play the way they were, or the way they are. So many iconic male characters. Then she said that was always the dream. That was always the dream for her. Harley's so fun and can go in so many different directions. You put her in someone else's hands, and it's like, what are you going to do with her? That's the options are endless. And again, that's the conversations we've had with talking about the recasting of T'Challa or any character. It's the example I use for myself all the time. It's the Joker, my all-time favorite comic book villain, the Joker. For me, there was no one that could touch Heath Ledger, and still for me, there is no one that could touch Heath Ledger. But I always said that it's there. No one is ever coming there. But then I saw Joaquin Phoenix in that role, and he's not there. But I can say what Joaquin did differently than what Heath Ledger did that I liked differently, and the things that I disliked. Two completely different Jokers.
Right.
Two completely different Jokers. But I could say same thing with Barry Keoghan. I could say what I liked with what we heard of him, or from what we saw in the deleted scene of him from the Batman film, and what on. And I can even have that conversation as Mark Hamill, who iconically voices the Joker. But the thing is, we're having the conversation. I just named 4 different people that I could tell you in 4 different directions that they have taken that character. You can only do that one time with the T'Challa character. So when Margot Robbie comes out, and again, this just gives more ammo and gives more fuel to the conversation of recasting the character. When she says things like that, it just, again, throws, it diffuses any argument that anybody has when they say, oh, well, no, this character doesn't need to be recast, or no, Marvel did this for this reason. It does not matter the reason. It doesn't matter what Marvel did. It doesn't matter what you think. The only thing that matters is that these characters are fictional and that they have to continue on. I do want to. Do you guys want to say anything before I play this?
I wanted to just say this is why I love her so much, because she's very much for the girls. Like, she's just not a gatekeeper, and I love how she made it very clear how she always had that vision for Harley, to be played by different actresses, to have different storylines like other male characters like Batman and Joker and the other people in her world. And I'm excited to see. I'm a huge Lady Gaga fan.
I like Gaga too.
I've been a little monster since the moment she came out with Poker Face, so I'm excited to see how she embodies this Harley, and if we get a darker Harley, or especially now that I'm watching the show, the animated show, like, there's an episode real quick where, like, they had to go inside her mind, and there was multiple different Harleys, so it's exciting that that's coming to a live action screen.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, get to continue on with the character. But I got tagged in this too, and this is just keeping up with that same conversation. When I say this, I already kind of gave a little piece on Twitter, but I'm going to say it again. I'm not upset that people are jumping on the recast T'Challa train, because maybe now I guess now you are starting to see what we have been saying for years. But I got tagged in this, and this one made me laugh a lot, honestly. Where is it? This
Studios
one here.
does not plan to recast the role of T'Challa, and
I'm sorry. Let's rewind here. So I got tagged in this video here because everybody was telling me how. I'm sorry. I got tagged in this video here because everybody was telling me how New Rock Stars and Eric Voss and our Grandmaster MT over there had said that they support recast T'Challa and that the character should be recast. Now, mind you, I do want to say, because I'm a person on the internet and in my own personal life, when it comes to receipts, I keep them. I harbor. I have shit from I got shit from O2. I don't forget or throw away anything, because you never know when you're going to have to use that or whatever, or say, well, but this or but anyway. Again, I'm not saying I'm not condemning them or throwing stones at them for supporting or jumping on the recast train, because they should have been on that recast train a long time ago. I understand that Marvel pays them. I understand that they're shills. I understand they have to say certain things to get the certain views or whatever. I get it. I understand that. Make your paper. Nobody's mad about your bag. What I'm saying is, though, let's be real, and let's this should have been the real thing from the very beginning. But before I even play it, MT, as we know, said, what was that, almost a year ago, he had made those tweets, and you can go watch the video. The video's on our page. I had read those tweets that he made and everything like that. The tweets where he was saying why recast T'Challa shouldn't be, why it shouldn't be a thing, how the recast movement is a bunch of whiny babies and suck it up and all the other things that he was saying some other shit too. All the other things that he was saying about recast. But old Massive Us agreed with it, so of course now MT agrees with it. So we're going to play what Eric and company over at New Rockstars had to say about recasting T'Challa now that the MCU is moving in a different direction. This is what they got to say.
that Marvel Studios does not plan to recast the role of T'Challa, and they're not going to use VFX to weirdly animate the character the way Star Wars did with Carrie Fisher. Right? So neither of those options are happening. Now, a lot of people did want there to be a recasting. I disagreed with that move, and so did Ryan Coogler and Kevin Feige and Chadwick Boseman's family. They all felt that the best way to honor Boseman's legacy was to not erase his performance by casting a new T'Challa and not put this impossible burden on whoever that new actor would be to live up to that expectations, to those standards. I'm sorry, that's just not the way we should go. Instead, it seems like Coogler's taken the path of embracing the message of his first film, of sharing power, sharing responsibility among all Wakandans, to carry that legacy with all the heroes that T'Challa inspired in the world. Because, this was never about one person. It was about the family, the tribe, the nation, the world. That Marvel Studios does.
How did they do that?
Somebody
when an old ass fish was able to come in there and flood the bitch and kill the mop. The fuck?
Somebody help me, please. I thought I had the version up where they started talking about the supporting of the recast. If someone has that, I thought I had that. If someone has that, please tag me in that really quick.
That whole interview just gave me the fucking ick.
But that's it. It's just funny. It's funny.
Someone said go to E-Man's page.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I don't know why I also have it. I have it. Why am I tripping? I retweeted that whole thing. Hold on. I'm pretty sure. Hold on 1 second. I have it.
needs a new T'Challa.
Here it is.
A new T'Challa, a new Tony Stark, new X-Men, and we shouldn't have to wait until 2030 to get them. The MCU needs a new T'Challa, a new Tony Stark, new X-Men, and we shouldn't have to wait until 2030 to get them.
Okay. So, anyway, a massive change in tone. The MCU needs a new T'Challa from they should never do that. It's not about that. It's not about one person. It's about the Wakanda. When has and again, this is why I tell you when I say that I'm not mad at Eric for chasing his bag. I mean, Marvel's paying him to say, to say whatever they want him to say on his camera and things like that. But this is why I always say, unless you are a fan, unless you've read the shit, unless you know what the fuck you're talking about, get off the camera. When have you ever picked up a Black Panther comic and it be about Wakanda? Wakanda may play a role, but the story, no matter what page you flip to, is going to be about T'Challa. Because it's no different if I was to pick up a book that was about Superman, or a book that was about, I'll give something so obscure, an oak tree. I'm not going to pick up a book about an oak tree and I don't read shit in the book about the goddamn oak tree.
Right.
It's a book about an oak tree. I'm going to learn about an oak tree. So it's no different if you pick up a book about the Black Panther. The character is T'Challa. The story is not about Wakanda.
Right.
Wakanda plays interesting roles. I've said this before. There in most of the most interesting stories with T'Challa in his comics, or the relationship he has with Wakanda, other than the relationships he has with the outside world. But you won't know that unless you pick up the books. So
because
even
the movie didn't portray it.
Right.
The movie made the Wakanda Forever portrayed Wakanda as weak.
Really calling it that shit.
Yeah.
So it's like for you to even say that was just redundant in itself, because that movie didn't make anybody or anything look good besides Namor, and then the last 30 seconds of it made him look like a chump.
Yeah.
So everything you just said was irrelevant. Everything you just said was contradicting. Everything you just said sounded about white, and everything you just said is just a fucking stop.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not gonna lie. I seen that nigga on screen. I knew I could leave.
Yeah, like
I had to take care of some business. I knew he had nothing. I don't like this nigga.
I don't like Eric Voss either, and I hate, and I'm not trying to start any, because I'm not. I could care less to have the YouTube drama with anybody. I really do. I don't know you.
Don't know me.
You don't know me. I'm never gonna meet. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care to have the YouTube dramas with you. But
Let me not say I don't like his content.
There we go. That's so much better. Let me clean it up a little bit. It's nothing personal with him personally. I don't like the two-facedness. I don't like the shilling.
I don't like his views.
Yeah. For me, as I've said many times on this channel, you will never ever hear me or anybody else in this room sit up here and not give you an authentic answer to something, an authentic how we actually feel.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna shill, and as I've said this before too. Let's say the channel was to take off to where I want the channel to take off to, and we start getting invited, or first of all, I don't think Marvel would invite us to anything, because I'm not going to. I'm not going to sugarcoat my answer to get on the red carpet. That's just not going to happen. I can watch the film at home. I don't got to be there for any. So I'm never going to pull this stunt. I'm never going to say 1 minute, oh, I don't think that. I agree with Marvel. They shouldn't recast a character there, because that would be weird. The family doesn't want it. And then to say, well, Marvel needs a new Black Panther. Marvel needs a new. When just a few minutes ago, when Marvel was cutting that check for you to say that they don't.
Yeah. And even that, I cutting checks. You couldn't.
We had this
my
authenticity.
Yeah, we had this conversation about you couldn't cut a check for me to do anything. If I'm being honest, if I don't want to do something,
if I don't want to do it,
that's where we have the extreme rhetoricals. Oh, for $1 million, no. Nigga, I got morals.
That's it.
Yeah, bro.
That's it. It's just funny.
Niggas are dead ass sellouts for some cash. Bro, I don't mind going to work. I don't I mind it, but I don't mind it.
I'm not doing that.
That shit's funny. I'm telling you, I applaud him, I guess, for finally joining the recast movement. And like I said, it's funny too that it took old Massive Oss for MT to join the train too. But it's just funny.
Too, Let me not start.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Again, I'm glad. The more the merrier.
Yeah,
The more the merrier. But it's
really funny.
it's not genuine. But that's what it is. It's just not genuine. I'll take it.
Yeah, no.
I'll take it. The more I get, maybe now that we have a new rock stars that says it, maybe now other people are going to start saying, well, you know what?
Y'all might be onto something.
Maybe we do need a new T'Challa. And again, I would say that the MCU is starting to realize that themselves. Not just a new T'Challa, but just all of your A-listers. Those are the ones that are going to sell.
Exactly.
These are your A-list characters. And again, the tone is shifting, and the reason, and I want to say this before I'm done. The reason you're seeing Eric Voss get on here and say we need a new T'Challa, we need a this and this and that, is because the tone. Yeah, we say that the views are down, but also because a check has now been cut. A new check has been cut because Marvel themselves are starting to realize we can't sell with B-list characters, so now we need to cut a check to our shills, our shield channels, like New Rockstars. And again, no hate toward him personally. I'm just talking what he is. Our shield channels, like New Rockstars. Hey, we need you to start pushing the agenda of a recast now because
scared to say it.
fucking views are down, money's down.
If I
Oh
keep
yeah,
stand up
yeah.
and church dance to what you just said, I would.
That's why he's saying it now.
Let's have an honesty moment for a
Niggas like
second.
Boss and MT or circus show
Yeah.
monkeys.
Yeah,
It's kind of like the niggas at Little Caesars who get in the suit and spin the sign. Like these niggas are advertisers. Like that gets more money. Like I don't get paid from this shit. Like
Right.
I don't have to say I like that nigga in it. I may dislike MT worse as a nigga just following what you like. Yeah, that nigga's a yes man.
A yes man.
Yes.
A complete yes
Yes,
man.
sir.
man.
Not even
Yes,
yes, sir.
Oh yes, Amasa.
Yes, sir.
Oh
Yeah,
yes,
all
sir.
the
Like-
things.
Yes, sir. Oh, are you gonna kick me off the pod? No. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it.
I have changed my podcast
Yeah,
name for
no.
you, Massa. Yeah. I'm telling you.
What the niggas gonna say to me? Like, we make more money? Cool.
Right. That's
Yeah.
what I'm
Like,
Cool.
It's fine. Again, I'm not going to sell my views or opinions for that shit. But it's just.
fuck that. I hope that gets some views. I want that nigga to see that.
It's funny to me though. But again, I'm glad we have, I guess, bigger channels talking
I'm
about
just
it.
like, what if I woke up to like 300? You're such a don't talk to Eric like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
but
I said what I said.
genuinely though, like when I seen that video, I knew it was gonna be some contradicting shit that he said from the past. So I just went and took care of business. And hearing it's recast T'Challa makes it even worse because I've known how against it
They were, man.
Man.
MT he did that whole thing, those tweets
Them
where he
niggas
made it to
truly
where you
believe-
could not comment
Yeah,
back.
them niggas
Yeah.
truly believed Bozeman was.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
They
yeah,
were under Marvel stuff, but
yeah,
shit. I need to watch Echo, so
yeah.
we do
So
Yeah.
yeah, we are. That's it. Anyway,
nigga like Q got work at 1 a.m.
we do. We'll close there with everyone. Do appreciate everybody coming in tonight, but we do have to get on, like I said, to Echo. But I wanted to address that. I wanted to address the God of War things,
No,
everything
what
else.
Johnny just said though, he said say new rock stars is Steve Harvey and us at Planet Fanatics is Cat Williams. When I watched that Cat Williams interview, I swear, because you can act like I've been saying Cat Williams probably since I've seen the poor little Tink shit. I still to this day think that shit is some of the
The
funny. He is one of the
funniest-
funniest niggas alive.
easily.
You can't eat your
And
baby's
I've
Cocoa
always,
Puffs.
I don't think I'm as funny as that nigga, but I've always correlated the fact that he's not a sellout. He not going like when that nigga, like when that nigga, I don't know if you saw that
genius.
part of it, he was like, they asked me to suck dick to get the role, and I said no. So I'm wondering what y'all did.
Yeah.
Like, and so that's how I'm thinking, like, of like the world, if I'm being honest. Like he's a genuine ass nigga. Like you may not like him, but that's a genuine ass nigga. You're not gonna do nothing he don't want to do. You're gonna say what he want. You're gonna do what he want. Like shit. And I know it's like for the most part it's authentic. Like ain't nobody since that interview. Oh, that nigga's lying. Ain't nobody. And he called out
has.
maybe like 12, 13 niggas.
Nobody has said that.
Ain't nobody coming up. Oh,
And he's
no,
like-
he's lying. He's not telling.
a genius. Like, he has a very high IQ. Like, got a full scholarship to like a.
See, and that's where I'd be like, there ain't no way this nigga was reading that many books at 6. That's where I'd be like, ain't no fucking way.
I mean, listen, to have an
said
IQ
30.
like that.
He, like I said, the whole thing, the entire interview, the
That dude
entire
was funny.
everything. It's kind of like you just said. Everybody that has come back and said something, Blackson hasn't shut up, but everybody that has come out and said a response to him has not said. He is lying though.
No.
Even in Ced's whole, hey bro, that's my joke. I said that back in the Kings of Comedy, but all that kind of stuff. But the thing about it is, everybody, the internet doesn't forget. Just like with this Eric Voss shit, how they played what he said a year ago to compared to what he's saying now. People are pulling up all the receipts.
Yeah.
People pulled up the Cat said the joke first. People pulled up the comedy, the comedy championship deal with him and Steve Harvey from somebody's fucking Nokia phone from 05. So. It's not as if, like, Cat's not telling the truth. I knew when I watched the interview, Cat's not lying. This nigga didn't miss a beat. The minute that nigga picked up that cognac, took that first sip, he didn't shut up for 2 hours and 46 minutes.
Like, didn't miss a beat.
I mean, and I saw somebody in the comments already smiling.
That nigga said you either become an alcoholic or a connoisseur. That nigga took his little sip and got to talking. I was like, yo.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
We're here.
The difference
and it was worse with a nigga like Shannon, because Shannon probably a grade A instigator, bro. Like, if
Shannon
you
didn't
know
know
Shannon
what the
Sharp,
fuck to
you'll...
say.
But that's my thing. If you watch him on, like, some boxing shit, like, oh, he said he'll beat your ass. Or, like, some sports interviews, he said he'd dunk on you. Like, yeah,
but see, if Shannon did a you know, the afterthoughts with him and Chad Ochocinco, and I was watching that, and he was saying how because somebody asked him, well, why didn't you say it? And I agree with him. He was like, what the fuck was I supposed to say? He was like, you know, he was like, Cat just started going. He was like, and I'm friends with those dudes. He's like, I'm friends with Kevin Hart. I'm friends with Cedric. He's
That's
like,
why he was like, whoa.
Yeah, he was like, what am I supposed to say? So,
He
but
was truly stunned. Like,
I
he was
did see
speechless.
Kevin Hart's ESPN deal with
that shit was even
No, it wasn't. But that's the thing I'm saying. They all keep digging deeper.
Kendrick Perkins said that shit, and Kevin Hart talking about some. Do you entertain the circus or watch it? Yeah, nigga, you bet. He must not have been lying, nigga. Like,
I mean, people pulled the receipts up for that. I was in middle school or elementary because I don't remember this show. And when it came out, what was that? Was it 06, 04? Yeah, I was in elementary, middle school. The Kevin Hart show that I knew not shit about to these receipts. It is exactly the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but reversed. Rich kid, troubled life, home life, got sent to live with his auntie and uncle who are poor, and so he could learn some family values and da-da-da-da-da. Only lasted one season. But it's like, Cat Williams said that shit, and it's like, everything he said is true. All the receipts he had is true.
He's
so
smart for doing that shit now too, because he's going on his little.
He's about to go on tour.
tour.
He's gonna be here.
That's what I'm saying.
In March, I'm thinking about going.
I want to go, but the lowest ticket is $113.
Guys,
March
he knew
15th,
exactly
I'm thinking about
what
going.
he was doing as soon as he agreed to this interview. We have not seen this nigga in decades.
Yeah.
Okay? As soon as he agreed to go on that show, as soon as he picked up that cognac, he knew exactly what he
That
was
was
doing.
the funniest part of the interview. He said, they got me in the casting room and asked me to suck dick. I said, no. So I'm looking at y'all like, what y'all do to get here?
He had a lot of memorable quotes from that.
It's just the way I knew that nigga was not lying. Like, he probably real life was looking at niggas wondering, like, man, what did y'all do to get here?
What?
Yeah. Like the whole Ricky Smiley. I mean, Ice Cube cleared up a lot of the stuff, but the whole Ricky Smiley made sense when he said, you know, you were supposed to. How was Ricky Smiley going to play? Now Ricky Smiley went out for the role, like Ice Cube said. He said he did go out for the role, but like Kat said, how were you going to play that role when your whole fan base was Christian based?
Yeah.
Right.
At that time, Ricky Smiley's entire fan base was Christian based.
We got to talk about Wendy on how she tried to interpret him as gay, and like her main fan base was a bunch of gay people, so it's not like he could say anything on her. And he was like, I don't know why she would do that, to like make it seem like it's a motherfucking like. it's an insult to be like when most of your fan base is. So that nigga was really going.
No, he really was. He
Like,
really was.
All right, guys, we gotta watch Echo.
He said. He said
the devil cannot. What did he say? The devil cannot bring you.
He
That's
said,
when I knew that
Shannon,
because he was in his little Sunday element. He was like, the devil cannot bring you benefit or some shit.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
but
Like,
he was definitely in his.
I was like, that nigga is in his bag.
He said. Shannon said, "Well, Cat, why would they lie? I don't know why liars lie, sir. I can't tell you why liars lie." And I was like, "This nigga's so stupid." Oh, okay. All right, we gotta get to Echo, but again, appreciate everybody hanging out and with us tonight. We'll be back tomorrow to talk more. I don't know if Q will be here, but I know Corey and I should be here tomorrow to talk more stuff with you guys. So appreciate everybody hanging out. We gotta get this Echo recorded so we can get these out by this weekend, and talk to you guys later. If you haven't subscribe, hit that like button, subscribe, share with your friends, and appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys all in the next video.
Bye guys.
Peace
See you
out.
tomorrow.